Hello. Hello. You know you have a good title to your stream when you set it up like 5 minutes ago, and then in the process of setting up the rest of your stream, you've forgotten what you set your title to. So when OBS reminds you, when you click the go live button, you have a little chuckle to yourself. That's the sign of a good title. Hi, it's me. I don't know why I don't have morning voice. I woke up like a few hours ago, but my voice sounds weird right now. Yeah, it's probably still like, I don't know. What solves morning voice? Let's talk about morning voice. It's probably a result of not talking, right? Like, not talking right when you wake up, because, like, when you sleep, who knows what fucking disasters happen at the back of your throat. First and foremost, I'm sorry to start out like a fucking freak-ass weirdo like I normally do. Check this shit out. I really thought that would slide a little bit faster. Oh, the big reveal. What's he gonna do? That's right. We're listening to RuneScape music from now on out. It's the same goddamn song. I've been listening to it for hours and hours and hours. I'm a little bit sick of the, whichever classical song that's actually used in Acceptance, I don't actually know. But anyways, yeah, RuneScape. That's better. It's at least variety, you know? Maybe I shouldn't go out and say it's better, though it is. But it's definitely a little bit better for variety's sake. No, but yeah, I woke up a few hours ago, but like, you know, it's fucking, I woke up at like 1 or 2 a.m., I can't really remember. So I haven't really talked since I woke up, because I had no one to talk to at the early AMs. I imagine that's probably why my voice sounded like I had just woken up, despite not actually just waking up. You gotta warm up those pipes, you know, get all lubed and juicy. That's what I always say. Gotta get yourself prepped for a morning stream. So yeah, why am I streaming in the morning, by the way? Well, it has something to do with the fact that I woke up at like 1 or 2 a.m. And also is a very good indicator of why I didn't stream yesterday. Like I said on Monday, I tried desperately to get my sleep schedule a little bit more normalized, but I actually just made it significantly worse. So yeah, I just, like, you know, I was trying to do the whole stay up endlessly thing yesterday, which I did. I did stay up, like, a lot longer than you normally would in, like, a regular 16-hour day. But, yeah, like, I don't know. I think I decided, I mean, I could look at my text. When I texted my mom, I was like, I desperately need to take a nap. Please wake me up in, like, a couple hours. Which she did, but I just slept through it because I was tired. But, yeah, like, I was planning on taking, like, a light little, like, 1 or 2 hour nap, before presumably eating food and then streaming on 0 hours of sleep, more or less. But instead, I just slept forever, which was honestly probably a much smarter idea, because the stream, in all likelihood, would have sucked anyways. But, so, to make up, because I do, you know, I feel a little bit bad for breaking the schedule. I just got the schedule semi-consistent last week, and then I'm immediately breaking out of it the next week. It's kind of like my life story. But, no, I will make up for it slightly by doing this little morning shindig that I'm doing right now, and then potentially I'm gonna try and stream again later today at the regular time. So there may or may not be 2 streams today, but I'm gonna shoot for 2. And if I miss, well, hey, at least I got a stream out today, and maybe I'll make up for the absence on Tuesday on a different day this week. But yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling a lot better after, like, actually resting. And, like, I don't know, it was especially bad for me to stay up for as long as I did on Monday, because I was just, like, miserable after my stream on Monday. I felt so fucking bad after the technical difficulties. Like, it's hard to explain, because, like, I mean, obviously, there are worse things that can happen in the world. I'm not gonna act like I'm the survivor of a natural disaster or something, but it does feel very bad to have a stream just, like, I don't know. I know it's not like the stream was completely garbage because of, like, 20 minutes of unrecognized downtime, but it feels like that. Like, I even feel bad when I have, like, a decent 3 to 4 hour stream, and there's, like, one 30-second joke I made that wasn't very good. Like, fuck, I should've gone faster. That's all it takes for me to feel bad about a stream. So, having 20 minutes where the stream was, like, literally unwatchable and not noticing it, that sucks, dude. Because, like, I can talk myself out of feeling bad if I make, like, some stupid, dumb jokes, right? Because I'm like, well, whatever. First off, it was, like, 30 seconds. And secondly, like, you can't let 30 seconds determine your feeling on a 3-hour broadcast. But also, like, you know, it's probably not as bad as it seems, right? Like, even if you made a really bad joke, like, it's kind of funny in its own right for trying so hard and failing quite miserably. But 20 minutes of, like, genuinely, like, the stream being unwatchable because, like, it's a fucking slideshow, that is, like, you can't go back from that. Like, there's no talking yourself into, well, on the bright side, maybe people prefer the slideshow. Like, there's really nothing good to come out of it. The brightest side that I could look at it is, thankfully, like, I mean, this is where I get down on myself a little bit. Thankfully, that Dyson Sphere program stream segment was not particularly good in the first place. Like, I don't know. I thought that the End is Nigh segment of Monday's stream went pretty well, but the Dyson Sphere program slightly fell apart because, like the first few streams of Dyson Sphere, I pretty much knew, like, at any moment what my next step forward was, but on Monday's stream, I felt like just a tiny bit lost. Maybe a little bit, like, misled by the game, because, like, I don't know, it just felt like everything had, like, a very distinctive step forward until you got to oil, and then it just kind of, like, has no real, like, guideline as to what you do next, because, like, it's not even very clear what plastic is used for at first. Like, you have to search through, like, a web of tech trees just to find out how you even use this plastic. And, like, you need to use the oil for something, because, like, your hydrogen cannot be produced if your oil is building up. And, like, the real answer is that I should have just embraced the messiness a little bit and probably just put in, like, a fluid storage tank a little bit sooner and, like, bulk up some of the refined oil instead of just trying to, like, use it all evenly, because that would have really kickstarted my research into actually getting to use the oil. I don't know, I just think it's like, for the most part, I have very few issues with the Dyson Sphere program, and, like, especially nothing design-wise has jumped out to me as, like, super, super bad. Like, it's just missing some quality of life stuff, in my opinion, but also, like, you always have to see that coming when you are a game heavily inspired by Factorio, which is, like, by far, well, as far as, like, I don't know, As far as, like, very, very popular games, I would say that Factorio, hands down, has, like, the best quality of life in games that, like, people regularly play. Like, I think that the game with the most quality of life is probably something like Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup, for example, but that's a little bit lesser known, so... Yeah, Factorio, it's really up there for quality of life stuff, so... I don't know, I feel like... The devs of Dyson Sphere have, like, a very steep slope of expectation coming from something inspired by Factorio. But anyways, yeah, like, design-wise, like, at every step of the way, I'm just like, you know, this is either exactly how I would expect it to be, because it kind of just apes off of Factorio. I mean, you know, you can have your own opinion on whether it's stealing or inspiration, because there's always, like, a little bit of middle ground there, where some people will be more upset by things than other people. But, no, I think that, like, like, I would never call Dyson Sphere Program a ripoff of Factorio in any means. It does so many things differently, and, like, I was so blown away by the way that the space travel felt when I actually, like, discovered that at the end of Monday's stream, and accidentally fucking rocketed myself into the middle of, No Man's Land. Like, the way they have it set up is super cool, and I think the way they have the entire game set up is super cool. And it doesn't feel like just a cash grab, you know? It doesn't feel like they're just ripping Factorio because they want money. It feels like they have a lot of ideas for the project and actually care about it. And want to do something interesting and different that is not just Factorio. You might look at it no matter what and say it's Factorio with the spin, but... you know, I'm totally okay with that. Like, I will play... like, I play basically every Zachtronics game... oh, fuck, I'm not supposed to jump there. Basically every Zachtronics game is just, like, assembly code with a spin. So, I don't know, man. I'm there for it, no matter what. Like, it's impressed me so far. But I will say... if there was a design thing to complain about, I think that the oil step in, like, research is a little bit vague direction-wise, because, like, there's really no clear indication on what you even use the oil for outside of red research when you immediately get oil. Like, you can very clearly see, yes, I need red research, that's gonna require oil, so you get to oil, and you need the hydrogen, and, like, it shows you that there's a recipe that can turn oil into graphite and more hydrogen, but you can't actually make it, because that requires, like, a separate research or something. I'm still not 100% sure on that, but, outside of the hydrogen, as the output from the oil refineries, you really have no clue what the fuck to do with the oil itself. Like, I guess it is a fuel, so maybe it's not an issue for other people as much as it was for me, because they might immediately think, like, oh, well, I'm just gonna pump this shit directly into my, my thermal generators. But, yeah, I didn't have those set up, because, like, it... I mean, maybe another design issue I would posit is that, like, Factorio, you basically need, like, very, very early on to take advantage of those steam engines, or you just can't get off the ground, because, like, solar panels come so much later in the game, and that's the only, like, I'm pretty sure that's the only, like, completely passive energy generation. And it's, like, expensive compared to Dyson Sphere Program. It is very expensive, and comes much later. And even still, like, when you have solar panels, because of how expensive it is, you're probably still going to be using the steam generators for a decent while after researching solar panels. And even past that, there's still, like, you know, plenty of reason to want to invest in, like, nuclear power, because, like, the solar panels are not really just like the ultimate solution. But in Dyson Sphere program, like, I don't even have storage for my energy. And I'm having no fucking energy problems whatsoever, just using the passive energy from, like, wind turbines and solar panels. Now, that might change as I go forward in the game and things require more power. Like, I imagine the like, drones that are going to be depositing materials from, like, planet to planet using the interstellar logistics system or whatever it's called, those are probably gonna take, I would hope, they would take a shit ton of power. But for right now, it seems like solar panels and wind turbines are kind of a little bit under-tweaked. They're a little bit overpowered as it currently stands, but I don't know. Maybe I'm also blind, and maybe I'm only saying it's not a problem, or not realizing, like, how much energy I should be... goodbye. Not realizing how much energy I should be using at this stage of the game, just because I suck, and I should have my factories running at, like, a much higher potential than they currently are. Because, like, admittedly, the reason I don't really have power problems is because, like... most of the time, 80% of my factory is just completely shut down because I'm overstocked on resources, or forgetting to research or something, but it might be a me problem. I still feel like, I don't know, even when I do the exact same shit in Factorio, I still run into, like, power problems and have to extend my power every now and then. And definitely take use of steam engines, because like I said, solar panels typically don't even come in until much later in the game, compared to Dyson Sphere. But yeah, I don't know. Feels like the oil was a little bit underutilized, and maybe there's some power balance that needs to be adjusted and tweaked a little bit. But other than that, still loving Dyson Sphere program, and excited to play it immediately after this, as well. But yeah, I don't know. Anyways, like I was saying, I'm glad that, like, the 20 to 30 minutes of content that were lost on that stream was more or less literally just me looking at the tech tree, trying to decide, like, what I'm supposed to do next. Like, that is not an exaggeration. Like, I'm not gonna have it on YouTube. I already cut it on YouTube so that, like, it just combines the VODs and skips out the 20 to 30 minutes that were choppy. But, while the Twitch VOD is still alive for the time being, you can check it and see that, like, even though you're only getting one frame every 2 minutes, for the entire, like, 30-minute duration that the stream was a slideshow, it's literally just the tech tree open. Like, it's just the research menu. So, thankfully, nothing of actual value was lost. It was just me trying to figure out what I'm supposed to be doing in the game. And I did eventually figure it out. But, still, I don't know. Still frustrating. And honestly, that's probably, like, the biggest reason I didn't notice that the stream was running into problems, is because I was so fucking, like, had my nose to the screen trying to figure out what I was doing wrong here. But, oh well. It happens. It's been a while since I had, like, a tech issue that made me feel that bad. The only other time it's ever happened, I just immediately fucking shut down stream and ended the VOD. Or deleted the VOD, I mean, because, I felt so bad about it, but, like, it was one of the first streams I ever did. It was a Link to the Past randomizer. And I had a technical issue where some of the audio channels were really messed up, and I later found out that it was... Oh, cool. Oh! Nice! I later found out that it was completely my fault, and, I just didn't plug my headphones in, because at the time I had wired headphones. I didn't plug my headphones in quite enough So I was still hearing the audio, but I guess it was just, like, cutting out some audio channels. Like, I tested it, because, like, I always test my audio ahead of time, just to make sure balancing is good. And on the main menu, like, where the, you know, the Triforce pops up, it goes through the lore at the start of Link to the Past, nothing was wrong. So I guess, like, the audio channels the emulator used at that point were the ones that my headphones were actually picking up. So I didn't notice anything wrong until I actually... Well, that was stupid. Started playing the game. And, yeah, I kept talking about it. I was like, man, I really... Something's up here. Like, why are the sounds all fucked up? Why is the music fucked up? I'm only getting some channels here. And then I, like, ended stream to try and figure it out, because I couldn't figure it out while I was on stream, and I hate, like, trying to sort tech issues out during a stream. So I just ended the stream. Couldn't find the solution while I was offline. You know, like I said, much later, I tested it a bunch and figured out it was just because my headphones weren't plugged in all the way. But in the moment, I was just like, fuck it, I'm not going back online. Like, no one had even watched the stream anyways. I was like, I'm just gonna fucking delete this shit. So I did. And that's the story of, like, the only other time I've run into technical issues. I guess you can count the Mario Party stream I did with my girlfriend that I also deleted as a technical issue. But, like, that's less technical issue and more so just, like, I mean, I don't know. You kind of expect the risk factor when you're doing an online game via emulation. Yeah, it's just like we had like a 2-hour Mario Party game. It was going alright, but like literally 3 turns before the Mario Party game ended, there was a slight, brief, like millisecond long internet disconnect that made the whole lobby fall apart, which sucks, but it happens. So yeah, I deleted that one too. There's very little that I've actually deleted. Pretty much everything I've streamed, I've kept permanently on the YouTube. But yeah, every now and then, you know. It's literally only the result of technical problems. I have considered deleting VODs in the past, because either I feel like a stream is particularly shitty, or I said something that made me look like a dumbass. But, no, all of that is still up on YouTube. I've never gone through with a decision to remove a VOD because of those reasons. But, yeah, I don't know. Tech issues bother me. Because, like, it's just no matter which way you look at it, it's just, like, part of the stream is irrecoverable, one way or another. And that's just a really, really awful feeling. Which made me feel, like, really, really bad in the moment after ending Monday's stream. And, like, you can tell in the last, like, I don't know, I think I streamed for, like, an extra 50 minutes after the technical issues. I was really debating just not coming back after the technical issues arose. But I did come back. Because I don't know. I was thinking about it, and I was like, if I'm gonna cut out the shitty part for YouTube, it's just gonna be like a really abrupt ending. So I probably should stream a little bit longer. And I also wanted to experiment with lowering my streaming resolution, which turned out to be a big success. But you can definitely tell in the last 50 minutes of stream that I'm, like, a little bit beaten down. I'm just like, ah, shit, dude. It's all fucking ruined. It's all over, man. Twitch career ended from one technical issue that lasted, like, 20 minutes long. Like, I don't know. The more I talk about it, the better I feel about it, because I'm like, it's really not that big of a deal. But it really does feel bad in the moment. The thing that helped me the most was looking back at the VOD to see what content was actually, like, irrecoverable. And I felt so fucking good knowing that the content that I was going to have to cut was not particularly good content anyways. It was just me looking at the fucking research tree. So that felt nice. That made me feel a little bit better. Oh, and another thing, while looking at my YouTube channel, I was reminded, I showed my girlfriend that, like, I actually showed her the song that, my DMCA strike was over, or not strike, but, like, my DMCA claim was over on my YouTube channel. And she made a very astute observation that I didn't notice when I had first checked out the song. Because, like, I wanted to see if, like, you know, when I first saw that I got a DMCA claim, obviously I wanted to check the song and be like, you know, is this song actually being played? Because, like, in fairness, even if the caretaker / still forgetting the guy's actual name, but, even if he did not copyright claim the songs himself, he did sample from songs, or at least I know he sampled from songs, but I don't know if the songs he sampled from are, like, you know, like open comms at this point. Open comms is not the right term. Public domain. I'm not sure if the songs he sampled in Everywhere at the End of Time is all public domain. I imagine that some of it might not be, but anyways, there was a chance in the back of my head that even if I was not claimed by him himself, I could have been claimed by some, you know, music studio that owned the original songs he sampled from. So I checked the song that I was claimed for, and I talked about this on that one End is Nigh stream, but I did not notice what my girlfriend noticed, which was the song in question. I mean, first off, there's like very few views on the song itself. I mean, no offense, because I don't want to make this about the artists themselves, because, like, it's not like the artist who made the song that I got claimed for is responsible for the claim. That is never the case. It's always just the music licensing studio they went with. I don't know the music industry. Whatever the proper terminology for whatever I was trying to say there is. But it's fucking N-Way whatever the fuck music. What is it? I can go to my YouTube and check right now. It's N-Way something. But they're the ones responsible for the copyright claim, not the actual artist. So I never want to make it about the artist. I linked the video, like I linked the music, the song, in my YouTube video where I talk about it, but that's not for, like, I don't mean to, like, create a fucking hate army as if I have viewers that would do that. That's not the intention. The intention of me linking the song was literally just, to showcase that the song is not in my video at all. Because I think that's funny. But yeah, the claim is by Merlin N-Way Music. So they're the actual ones at fault. I'm not gonna, like, make it about the artist when it's not about the artist. But, you want to see me suffer from this game? Well, I kind of have been, so you're in luck. Though, don't expect me to make any big reactions about it. I'm not that kind of guy. I just talk about bullshit while playing the game. Yeah, my girlfriend noticed that on the, like, the first result when you Google search for the song gives you a YouTube video from, like, a direct, it's like one of those auto uploads, you know? Like, you can tell that the song was just uploaded by a bot, but I think it's like, I think the channel is actually official, because I think somewhere it says, like, N-Way Music on it. You're the hate army, Sabotage? How's it going, dog? So I think to some degree that video is an actual official video, or who knows, maybe it just is like some other random person who wanted to distribute the song that probably got a copyright claim. But point is, that video, which is the first search result when you try and find that song, has very, very few views. And again, not trying to make it about the artist, I just think it's kind of funny that a seemingly not very popular artist is getting, like, like, you know, it's kind of weird. It's kind of a weird energy to have, like, a not very popular song getting automatically claimed by a YouTube system to steal all of the monetization from other people's videos. But anyways, the biggest point to drive home here is the fact that the video almost exclusively has dislikes, and it has nearly as many dislikes as it does views on the video. So I have a feeling that it's basically, like, only viewed by people who got a copyright claim. Like, that's the only thing that brings it to mind, is like, surely other people are getting claimed by this fucking N-Way Music Corporation, and going to see the video themselves and being like, you son of a bitch, I wasn't even playing your fucking song on stream. Disliked. Either that, or it might actually be a hate army kind of situation where, like, one YouTuber made a big deal of it and linked the video in question. Yeah. Alright. I kind of need to, like, chill here, because this is close to the farthest I've ever been. How did I do this before? Surely it's not... Yeah, you can't do it like that. Is it just like... Oh, it's just a super delayed jump. I don't really like the design of that jump either. Like, I already talked about not liking the design of the jump in the previous screen, like 5-1. I thought was pretty shitty because, like, that's the first time you ever experience that kind of jump in the entirety of End is Nigh, where you just, like, literally the only solution to the jump is just walk off the platform. I thought that was pretty shit. But that jump, too, that jump is like the only jump in the entirety of End is Nigh that requires you to, like, fully walk off the block before jumping. Like, you literally can't make that jump unless you jump with the, not like the buffer frames, but the forgiveness frames that the game gives you when you walk off a platform. Okay, that was very close, but I timed it correctly. Yikes, dude. I did not time any of that correctly, but it worked out. I'm okay. That's okay. We're okay with that. That's completely fine. This place isn't that tough, but it's far too tough for being at the end of this nonsense. Yeah, that's my feeling on it as well. That's my feeling too. I don't know. I would also, in a way, say it is too tough, just for those, like, couple of jumps that are literally, like, nothing else in the entire game. Okay, remember not to let the screen transition there. Okay. I'm okay. Are you really gonna make me guess if... So, like, that's the end, right? That up there at the top right corner is the end. I would also say it's a little bit stupid that the trophy at the end of the level is nearly identical to the enemies that kill you. That's a questionable decision. Do I just go for it? Going for it is really scary here. This is the end? Yep, okay. Like, why even put the opening at the top right corner? Like, why? If that was walled off, it would be so much more clear that that's the ending. Okay. I just have to time this one jump. This is the only thing that scares me, are these two ghosts in front of me. The End is Nigh cartridge is a challenge? Oh, you mean like the cartridge called The End Is Nigh? Yeah, that's fair. I did the glitch carts on a different stream. You can find it on my YouTube channel if you want to. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of this. I think I'm just gonna go for it. Like, I imagine if I ledge grab to the left of that first ghost, I would probably be okay, but I just don't want to risk it. And I'm also, like, in a much worse position standing on that, like, ledge if I actually make it there. Because what do I do if I get to the ledge? I probably just die. Even if the ghost itself doesn't kill me, I'm not going to be able to make that jump from the ledge. Yeah, there's no way. I mean, maybe? I don't know. I don't think it's worth it. You did almost all the cartridges without dying? I'm proud of you. I've never been more proud in my life. I'm stalling, dude. I'm stalling so much. I thought all of the glitch carts were fun, because they are not just endurance challenges, because I don't really like endurance challenges. Like, I don't mind things being difficult if they're not overly punishing, I guess. I'll probably not experiment if I can do Mortman without beds. That seems like an experiment I don't really care for. Alright. Just do it, dude. Just fucking go for it. Not fast enough. Alright, here we go. You think you just send it for the first two, but wait on the third? That's what I was intending on doing, is getting past those first two. But, yeah, I realized I was too slow after I landed that first jump. And I was thinking about ledge grabbing, because I was scared. But I was like, nah, if I ledge grab, I'm probably gonna die anyways, so I just went when I knew I didn't have enough time. Bad idea. If anything, I probably should have just doubled back. If I doubled back, I probably would have saved myself. But there's not enough time to think. Alright. Maybe not next time I make it there, but I don't know. I can't imagine that screen takes me, like, more than 3 tries. So, if I can get another couple of attempts in this stream, I probably finish it this stream. This is such a nicer experience without the repetitive droning music, though. Like, no insult to the music itself, it's just not really the kind of thing I want to listen to for hours on end, you know? I should probably get myself in a slightly better posture. Another thing that is maybe not worth mentioning, but seems worth mentioning in the moment, to me fixing my posture. I, like, really fucked up my tailbone, and I'm pretty sure it's entirely due to, like, a couple of days of just extremely awful posture in my chair. Because my chair is also, like, a little bit old. It's not that old, like, it's actually kind of new compared to my last chair that I had. Because, like, even if I have something that's completely busted, I'll just hold on to it for way too long. Because, like, replacing it takes more effort than just dealing with it day in and day out. But, yeah, so this chair's like a year, maybe like a couple of years old, which is not that old for a chair. Especially not compared to my last chair that I think I literally had since I was in... I think the chair has been around since I was in, like, elementary school, but anyways. I was not the one who used it for the majority of its existence. It was a hand-me-down chair kind of deal. But this chair's cushioning was not the best. I mean, we got it kinda cheap, and, like, at a not super reliable vendor. But, I mean, it's a suitable chair, and you kinda get what you pay for as well. But, the cushioning is definitely worn out, like, very, very quickly. So, there's, like, a super hard metal bar right where my tailbone is, especially if I'm sitting with poor posture, because, like, you know, with proper posture, your ass should be protecting you from whatever you're sitting on, for the most part. But as I slouch down a little bit, it's all tailbone, straight on the metal bar. And, yeah, I find myself slightly injured as a result of poor posture for a couple of days. I should probably just, like, in general, try and sit with better posture than I normally do. Because I'm gonna end up with gamer back when I'm in my 40s. Be a fucking hunchback of Notre Dame. Rest in peace, Notre Dame. It's been a while since I've thought of that. Has the church been repaired? There are so many billionaires leaping out of their chairs to be the one that got to repair it. It's like it's the equivalent of like. Well, that's not the same. I was gonna say it's the equivalent of like doctors that get a wing of a hospital named after them, but like in that case, at least they're actually like, you know, they're doing something that is kind of like worth naming a wing of a hospital after, whereas like billionaires just struggling to be the one that is responsible for the reparation of Notre Dame. They just want the, I don't know, I guess the notoriety, even though like, is that really the kind of notoriety you're looking for? Like, I guess. I mean, I don't know. Just a weird kind of vibe from it for me. Oh, god damn it. I wasn't expecting him to jump there. It's one of those situations where you should probably actually be paying attention to the screen instead of just assuming things will work your way. Oops. I got a problem with that. Your ass should always be protecting you. 100%. 100%. It's, you know, one of the, least respected. Well, I mean, depending on the situation, I guess. I was gonna say one of the least respected. But I've seen some videos, man. I've seen some videos where the ass is purely mistreated. Repulsive stuff, I'm telling you. Definitely don't do the research yourself. You'll never be the same afterwards. That's it. That's like literally the only things I came prepared to talk about. I've started a thing, like right before I start stream, I try and think of like, because during the banter segment, like I really do have to drive the conversation myself to some degree, because, I mean, there's nothing fucking interesting to talk about in the same end as nigh screens I've seen for the past, like, 15 or so hours at this point. So I try and, like, at least have a few interesting things to talk about before starting stream, but, like, I really got nothing. Like, I'm not the best generator for banter, because, like, I pretty much just fucking sit in this room, eat food, work on my game, and stream. It's the kind of thing that's probably tax deductible and really good publicity. Really good publicity is... depends on which way you look at it. Because, like, I don't know, I guess, like, a lot of people are like, woo, woo, go billionaires, yeah, repair that shit. But, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people see through the veil and are like, it's not really costing them compared to how much wealth they have, and like caring that much about the notoriety you get reflects a little poorly on you, in my opinion. Not to say that like repairing the church is a shitty thing to do, but like, I don't know. Just the absolute like oh god, holy shit, how did I survive that? Ignore that one. Is ravenousness ravenous? But I want it to be, I don't want it to be like, adverb. I want it to, well, I guess I do want it to be an adverb. Anyway, they ravenously leapt over each other to be the ones that got the notoriety. Leaves a funny taste in my mouth. I think a lot of people feel the same. But anyways, this is like really, really old news. It's just kind of like... the majority of people you see leaping to be the ones responsible for repairing... I lose the term responsible loosely because it's not like they're really doing anything. But, Yeah, most of them don't fucking give a shit about the church. It's kind of weird as a thing to do in the first place. Maybe it's just me, but like, I don't know. Like, I know it was a huge cultural thing, but at the same time, like, you know, it's not really like the culture is gone, if it's gone. And outside of that, it's not really like fixes it, you know? Like it's the what is it? The ship of Theseus or something? I forget the philosophical thing I'm trying to say, but the boat that, like, if you repair every part of the boat, is it really the same boat? I mean, I guess, I don't know. It's more just like a statement than it is actually doing anything, but that's kind of culture as a whole. It's just a statement. But anyways, that's Notre Dame. I'm gonna mix up my pronunciation of it every time I say it, because I'm sure no matter how I say it, I'm probably pronouncing it incorrectly. You always gotta be wary of that. Always gotta be on the watch for those guys that will crawl out of every corner space imaginable just to scream at you for your pronunciation of things. I mean, I can barely pronounce English words correctly. Give me a break. No, I definitely agree with that too. Like, you know, there's a reason that YouTubers keep giving money to the homeless while recording them. Like, even though it's, like, a very thinly veiled attempt to being generous, it, you know, people still watch it. Either because they hate it, or because they think it's genuine. People still watch it, regardless, so... yeah. I don't know, I feel weird. Like, Mr. Beast is kind of a weird one for me. Because, like, on the one hand, if there is anybody who's, like, very genuine with the things they do, it's probably Mr. Beast. But at the same time, like, I just can't, like, I can't feel good watching it. Like, I mean, not that it's the kind of content I would watch in the first place, but even still, it's, like, such a weird feeling for me watching someone profit off of generosity. Like, I don't know. Even if it is, like, actually changing someone's life and making a better place in the world or whatever, I'm just like, it's weird, man. It's just weird. It's just weird to me. It's like, you could do the same thing and not record it, but that's not what it's about. He's doing it for a living, more or less. It's strange. But I mean, you know, that's not the only thing Mr. Beast has done. Like, it's not like every single video on his channel is a sign of generosity. A lot of his shit is just like, I have a lot of money, look at it. So, you get both sides of it. And it makes the things that might actually be generous feel disingenuous. But maybe that's just me. I did not buy... Is this where I draw my line? This is where I draw my line. I'm a very serious man. I did not buy the Mr. Beast outfit in Fall Guys. I will not support him. And it's not just because I thought it was an ugly costume, because it is. I did buy the ninja one, because at least the ninja one is, like, funny. I mean, Ninja's just, like, an actually shitty person. So, like, it's not like I didn't buy the Mr. Beast one, because I don't support the guy. It's just the costume is ugly. I don't support Ninja at all, but I think that having a ninja costume in Fall Guys is good enough meme potential that I had to buy it. You just gotta buy it. It's the kind of offer you can't say no to. You just gotta. And I also wonder to some degree, like, I don't know. It's a mixed bag. I've seen very, very few Mr. Beast videos, just to put that on record. But one of the ones that I did see, I don't know, don't look at me, don't judge me, alright? Because, like, if I'm bored, and I've got nothing else to do, and YouTube recommends me something that I'm, like, you know, I'm not particularly interested in, but in the moment, I'm like, fine, I'll waste 10 minutes watching this. I'll watch it. So I did see Mr. Beast give a house to a pizza guy. 1 second, just banning my most loyal viewer. It was a bot! It was a bot! Yeah, I saw a video where Mr. Beast orders a pizza from a guy. And I can't remember how it goes down. I think he, like, gives the guy a big tip or something, and is like, hey, do you want to help us get furniture? I can't remember exactly how the premise went down. But somehow, they got the pizza guy to agree to furnish someone's house that he didn't know. Turns out, it's his house. They got him the house. But, it also, I don't know, it feels like that it could definitely, like, it could definitely be staged. I'm not saying it is staged, it's just the kind of thing that's not difficult to stage. Like, that's what reality TV has done for ages. Like, I don't doubt, oops, just not paying attention at all. I don't doubt that he did buy a guy a house. Like, you know, he's got plenty of documents to prove that. I only doubt, like, what is seen on footage, because there's a lot of... There are some fake-looking reactions, and also, like, I just don't know how they got him. I mean, maybe they paid him to furnish the house, but even still, if you're, like, working a job as a pizza guy, and they got into this tragic backstory for him, and they were like, oh yeah, he would really, he needs this house or whatever, but... The way they set it up really seems like, you know, if anybody was in that position, like, why the fuck would they agree to help these random people furnish a house? You just fucking delivered a pizza. Like, I don't know, I feel like the majority of the world would just be like, I don't know. What? No. Why are you asking me to do that? That's like a very, very strange thing to ask your pizza delivery guy. Even if it was a paid job, like, I don't know. But yeah, anyway, that's Mr. Beast. When I think of a topic, I have to follow it to its logical conclusion, or I'll have literally nothing else to talk about. I can talk about bread. That was one of the things I thought about. Similar to the toothpaste thing I talked about last time, there's probably nothing interesting to talk about bread. But, dude, I ate ciabatta bread as my morning meal. Not just ciabatta bread, letting you know. I had pasta, which I know is kind of like a weird thing to have when you wake up, but my mom had ordered dinner last night and they were leftovers, so I was like, hell yeah, dude. Like, I don't know, here we go, I'm pivoting it to a much more interesting line of discussion, because I really had nowhere to go with the bread topic other than I think ciabatta is good. And I was going to compare it to pineapple, because pineapple is also, like, one of the best fruits in my mind, but pineapple has a defense mechanism that stops you from eating too much of it, because after a while it hurts your mouth. Same thing for ciabatta. I think ciabatta is one of the best breads, but especially if you're biting into, like, a ciabatta roll, and not just, like, a large loaf of bread, where, like, the crust to volume ratio is very high on, like, a roll. Eventually you just can't eat any more fucking ciabatta bread because your jaw will fall off. It's a very, very tough bread, especially the crust. It's one of those things where making a profit off of generosity isn't really wrong. Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, but, like... I don't know, it's, like, I'll just never feel good watching it, or, at the very least, there will always be something in the back of my head. Like, I definitely don't seek out that kind of content, because it makes me feel weird. Especially, like, the very, like, there's different levels of, like, more generous and less scummy to way more scummy and less generous, which is, like, fucking, to put it into scope a little bit. It's not the most good feeling when you have, like, a 10 million subscriber YouTube channel giving, like, a homeless dude a $10 bill recording his reaction, and yeah, it can definitely get very scummy. But, like, you know, I would definitely say that buying a house for a complete stranger, and, like, fully paid off, I should note. Like, it's not like he just paid the down payment and was like, pay off the rest of your mortgage yourself. He fully paid for the house. That's definitely more generous, but it still leaves a weird feeling in me that I can't quite put into words. Even though it's my job as a streamer to put things into words. I really fucked up trying to do this for as long as I have been. Not the most verbose. And I can't pronounce words correctly half the time. But, you know, I try. God damn it, I try. Alright, so back to the other topic that I started. Isn't it wild? Isn't it weird that, that people will look at you a certain way for eating something that is not typically a breakfast food? I feel like breakfast is one of the only things that works that way. Like, lunch and dinner are pretty much interchangeable, although some people would probably look at you a little bit weird if you just had, like, a sandwich for dinner, but that's, like, completely fine to me. I mean, especially, like, depending on the sandwich. Like, if you're eating a meatball marinara, that's a, like, probably one of the least healthy sandwiches you can eat. So, that definitely fits in the dinner category, as well as lunch category for me. But, it's weird that, like, there are distinct categories that kind of, like, you naturally gravitate towards in regards to food. Because, like, I don't know, why is breakfast, and especially in America, breakfast is so often associated with things that are overly sweet. Like actual just candy to start out your day, which is probably one of the worst ways you could start out your day. A great example of this was the destruction of the rice industry in Haiti. Yeah. Yeah. That's... I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's definitely on a different scope than millionaires giving $10 to a stranger to record it. But I do see your point there as well. I feel like Twitch chat delay is too big, dude. I can't keep my conversational thread about breakfast foods while I have to deal with the rice industry in Haiti. It's just like, it's an especially funny tonal shift between the two. But that's why I said it out loud. That's where I mine my humor. You know, I gotta keep myself entertained somehow. Fucking... No one's probably entertained talking about breakfast foods, but... Like, surely at some point, that must have been, like... like, a big pancake, you know? And I'm not talking about, like, a triple-decker heart attack pancake. I'm talking about big pancake. The industry. Like, at some point... money exchanged hands and made sugary sweets the American breakfast staple. It's probably just a result of, well, I don't know, I shouldn't say that, because it's been... I feel like sweet foods is a breakfast staple has been kind of like part of American culture for longer than like Americans are unhealthy has been a view of American culture. I feel like that especially is like more so to deal with portion sizes than anything. Like, well, I mean, you can definitely relate that to like the sugary stuff for breakfast too, because they do give you an absurd amount, and like so cheap, dude. Like donuts are fucking dirt. Like you walk into a donut store, they give you donuts for free basically. Like they are so goddamn cheap. I don't understand how they make their margins. Like how does that how does that function as a business? How? But no. I feel like sweets for breakfast, there's probably some history to it, but I feel like it's definitely been around longer than the, you know, Americans are all obese thing has been going around. Oh, God damn it. I feel like that's a more recent thing, honestly. But, I mean, you know, portion sizes are really fucked up in America. And, like, especially drinks. Like, when you go to a fast food place and they give you, like, a small-sized drink for $2, but if you spend 20 extra cents, they'll throw on an extra 30 ounces. It's like, what? How does that work out economically? But also, good lord, people are dying. People are, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't think there is, like, a perfect solution to it, other than just, like, maybe better health education. I mean, I can talk about health education from a certain specific perspective, being born and raised in Texas. Like, our health class really fucking sucked. Comes from the same place. What you're saying is incentives for profit can be twisted so that the appearance of generosity mattered more than the actual effects. Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I definitely see the similarities, but look, all right, I'm trying to stay away from politics. I always go into politics in this fucking end is nigh section. Just It always gets wrapped around, but that's just America, man. It's just like, you can't stay out of politics. Even talking about the fucking, portion sizes in fast food places is a political issue to some people. It's fucking madness. It's absolute madness. You really can't have a thought, and especially not if those thoughts have facts and reasoning behind it, without it being political. Because there's always someone who doesn't want to accept what you have to say. Your facts and reasoning are bullshit. I'm tired of it. Enough with it. I can run away from 5G waves all I want to. Important to mention, my house is coated in tinfoil. I just thought it was relevant to the conversation. Like, what are the people who actually have an issue with 5G towers? How do they live their lives? You gotta imagine it's like, you know, like doing absolutely nothing to potentially protect themselves from their invisible threat that they're afraid of. But they sure make a big deal of it. I already talked enough about conspiracy theories on a different End is Nigh section. Dude, I've talked about way too many things during End is Nigh. Like, I don't mind recapping topics of conversation as long as I'm playing a different game, but I've been playing the End is Nigh for so many streams in a row that, like, it's wrapping around. It's bringing itself back to the start. It's Groundhog Day. I could make that joke if it was yesterday. If only I had this exact same stream yesterday, it'd be the funniest joke of all goddamn time. We can just pretend. Just let's all collectively pretend It's still February 2nd today. Dude, if I just, like, put February 2nd in the title of the YouTube video, literally no one would ever know it's actually February 3rd. And now I definitely 100% intend on doing that, if I remember. Because that's the funniest goddamn joke I've ever made. Alright. Real attempt. Real attempt here. Almost fucking threw it away in the easiest screen. I used to have trouble with this screen, remember those days? Those were rough. Those were really rough. I feel like there was one topic of conversation that I wanted to follow through, but I kind of got twisted and turned. It happens too often. I forgot to take that heavy mental note. It was something to do with breakfast! But then it went from breakfast to something else, and I don't remember how I got there. And I guess I never will. But I'm trying. But yeah, basically what I'm trying to say with the whole breakfast thing. I never eat breakfast foods for breakfast. Never do I ever. In fact, I usually eat what most people would consider dinner things for breakfast. Most of the time. I don't really eat breakfast things at all. I mean, well, that's not fair. Right before I started stream, I did have a bowl of very sugary cereal. But, yeah, I usually just fucking skip breakfast and eat, like, really heavily in every other meal. Because I am not the healthiest man alive. I've been gaining so much weight recently. I lived the majority of my life, like, severely, not severely, like, it's not like I was anorexic or anything, but I was very underweight just as a result of metabolism. Like, my dad had, like, the same levels of very, very active metabolism when he was young, too. He always had issues being skinny, although, I forgot I could save myself if I fall there. He didn't have a hole in his chest like I do. So for me, like, I mean, I'm not gonna fucking, I think it's actually against terms of service to lift my shirt. But I do have, I mean, I can try and, like, outline it. Like, I got a fucking crater. I got a crater in my chest. Which, growing up as an already skinny guy, doesn't really help the perception that you're a fucking skeleton. Like, even though I was a skinny guy, like I said, I was never, like, I was still, by definition, with BMI, which is not a super accurate scale for health, but on the BMI scale, I was labeled underweight. And I definitely was a little underweight. But the whole pectus thing, the hole in my chest, definitely made me a little bit more skeletal than I probably should have looked, due to not having a flat chest. Really made the collarbones stand out a little bit more than they needed to. The rib cage, for sure. But yeah, I was never, ever at risk of being overweight until, like, very recently. And I'm not saying I'm at risk to being overweight, but, like, I definitely need to actually care about what I consume, and probably get back on regular exercise again. Because, for the majority of my time growing up to this point, I would say, like, solidly from age 0... This is gonna be the most absurd statement I've made all stream. From age 0... to age 21. I think I stayed the exact same weight. But that's not too far off, honestly. Like, you know, outside of growth spurts, you know, you're obviously gonna grow a few pounds in just, like, bone weight. I didn't really gain weight at all. Like, I couldn't keep fat on my body, no matter how much food I ate. And I ate, like, if not at a regular person's level, at an above regular person's level, because now that my metabolism is, like, kind of coming to an extremely fast halt, Um, I would say, I mean, it's been a while since I checked, but like the last time I checked the scale, I gained like 30 pounds in like the course of a couple of months, which is very, very concerningly rapid weight gain compared to my entire life of like not gaining weight at all. But right now I'm in like a fairly healthy range. But if I'm not careful, I can easily tip the scales in the other direction. Get a little too chunky. I remember what I was going to talk about, though. I was going to talk about my my Texas health class. You don't really understand why foods are labeled by time at all. Yeah, I don't either. And it's especially weird because, like, I don't know, I feel like it's not like an American thing. Like, the British, pretty much everywhere around the UK treats it kind of similarly. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of places in Europe that have that similar concept of, like, breakfast foods and lunch foods, dinner foods, whatever. But, a lot of, like, Eastern cultures, like Asia, India, I don't believe that they have the same notion of, like, breakfast foods, lunch and dinner foods. Or, if not, I know that, like, it's very normal around that area to have, like, fish for breakfast, which, like, fucking Americans and probably most Europeans as well. Well, not most Europeans. Like, there's obviously the Nordic countries that probably have fish a little bit more regularly, but definitely not an American thing to have fish for breakfast. So it's just weird, but it's, I don't know. I mean, all cultural things are kind of weird. Like, there's not a whole lot of rhyme or reason to culture as a whole. There are some things that make sense, and you can draw it back to where it all started and go, so that's why that's like that. There's probably so that's why there's like that reason for breakfast foods, but just looking at it from the outside in, seems like a kind of strange concept. Alright, my Texas health class. Let's get into it, dude. I got a real topic of conversation. It's got a little bit of meat to it. Not a lot, but you know, I can't really ask for that much on the 800th hour of my end is nigh journey. Even a little bit of meat is something to get excited about. So, yeah. I would say that in general, like, health classes in Texas are probably not the most accurate place to look for actual health advice. But, my school especially had a very, very bad health class because our health teacher was also the football team's coach. I guess, you know, there are some correlations between getting concussions as your career and health. But aside from the school's reasoning for making him both the health instructor and the coach, you know, there's probably good enough reason to do it from a monetary standpoint, because, you know, why the fuck are we paying this coach when he's only really working like a few hours compared to the regular teachers? Let's give him an actual teaching job. I see the reasoning behind it, but you know, not the best health teacher. So some noteworthy examples of pretty improper teaching methods, because he was like very, very strictly conservative and Christian. Good start for a health teacher, right? Not that your political affiliation necessarily means you're not going to be a good health teacher, but you'll understand why I brought that up in mere moments, I'm sure. Because, you know, especially in a southern state, conservatism has certain implications with it as well. But, drugs are one thing, right? You know, he obviously went the route, as most health instructors do, which is pure abstinence. You smoke a weed once, you die. Do not touch weed. Do not be around other people who have touched weed. But, I mean, the biggest problem with, like, teachers like that is that they'll just go in and tell you, like, don't do it, don't. I don't know. I mean, I know that, like, you obviously can have the willpower to be like, oh, hey, all of my friends are gonna start smoking. Like, I can either not hang out with my friends ever again, or I can smoke every now and then. So, you smoke every now and then. It's just kind of a thing that happens when, like, I mean, it's not even particularly bad. There are, so, especially as it depends on when you do it, there are pretty serious potential health issues with smoking the Mary J as a kid with a developing brain. But, I mean, if you're in college, especially, like, who fucking cares, right? But, I don't know, I feel like the way they work it so that, like, treating weed as seriously as it's treated, and, I mean, especially legally the way it is treated, I mean, not so much nowadays, but, I mean, still in some places, Texas being one of them, like, I don't know, it kind of, like, fucks your entire life up if you're gonna go to jail for touching a weed once in your life. Anyways, that's an entirely separate topic. The point I'm trying to get at is that, treating it as if, like, weed is equal to, like, fucking crack or something is, a weird way to go about it, because it kind of, like, especially for, like, kids, when, you know, maybe you don't have the strongest idea, or maybe, like, you do want to be the good kid, and then all of a sudden, oh no, you've been pressured by your peers into doing a single smoky wokey. Now all of a sudden, you gotta throw your whole life away. It's all over. You fucked up. You took the gateway drug. There's no coming back from this. It's kind of a weird standpoint. You think it was the exact same at your school, the coach thing anyway? Yeah, I definitely understand the reasoning for making the coach a teacher, because, like, what else are they gonna do all day? But anyways, I mean, the drugs thing, I don't know. That's kind of like a loose argument, but, I mean, what am I gonna tell the coach? Am I gonna be like, nah, you shouldn't be doing this, actually, you should be telling kids that weed is totally cool and awesome? It's probably not gonna go over so well. But, real attempt, by the way. I think the biggest issues that arose in the class is everything regarding sex education. You know, being the devout Christian conservative health teacher that he was, he literally, I mean, I don't know if he broke the law. I don't really know the laws about it, but he definitely broke curriculum. Like, it's definitely, you're supposed to teach as a health teacher sexual education, but what he taught was strict abstinence. He refused to show the sexual education videos that he was supposed to show us. The few videos that he did show us, he skipped past a lot of sections. So, like, one particular thing that stands out in my mind was him forgetting that he was supposed to skip the condom lesson. Because, like, I don't know, he was just fucking looking at Twitter or something, but he like, got up in an extreme panic and was like, no, don't listen to that! You shouldn't know how to do that! It was, and, you know, I mean, he also had, like, a segment on Like, I guess he just had, like, a questions segment at the end of his health classes, which in his mind, I mean, I don't know, I guess I see the reasoning for it, is like, yeah, if you got any health questions, here's an open place where you can ask them. But, like, especially for the sexual education stuff, where he didn't really show anything, like, what questions are you going to expect other than, like, people asking things about sexual education, because you skip past everything. So he just, like, kind of avoided every question that was asked, and, like, basically just responded with, nope, strict abstinence. I remember someone asked him about abortion, and he basically had a fucking stroke in the class right there. Like, he did not know how to handle it. But that's my health class. Weed for a long time, despite being far less serious than other drugs, was the poster boy for the war on drugs movement. Yeah, I know. I mean, nothing good to say about the war on drugs movement. I don't think you'll find anyone who's got something positive to say on that. Whew. All right. I should actually focus. I have a real solid attempt. Like, what a world it would be if I was fucking done with this game. What a world it would be. I don't even want to think about... Oh, okay, yeah, no, so that's like a very cool... That's a very cool effect of that screen, is that the screen transition also happens when you're like a full block above the bottom of the screen. That's very helpful and useful. That's probably exactly why it happened to me last time, too. Like, I was conscious about it. I was like, don't let the screen transition. But I really felt like I was a full fucking block above the actual bottom of the screen there. Oh well. Back again, back again. I feel like I'm not really having issues with the platforming today. Like, platforming-wise, I've been mostly consistent. But it's just like a very, very long path you need to go through before you get back to the end of it. It can be rough. It can definitely be rough. I was feeling it, dude, and especially because I had just finished, like, the only other thing I had to talk about. I was like, this is it. This is my moment. This is where I beat it, and I can just happily move on to Dyson Sphere, and, what a clean escape. What a clean getaway from people inevitably realizing I'm out of shit to talk about. Oh, man. That's just what happens. Or I can talk about the asymmetry in this room that's bothered me ever since the first time I saw it. Just who designed this? Who designed this castle? Think about what it looks like on the outside, too. Despicable. Despicable. Like, obviously, you needed that pillar on the right side, but the spacing between the windows... Come on, guys. Come on. This room gets it together. It's got asymmetry, but in the best of ways. That's what I'm talking about. You know, speaking of background art, and also Edmund Macmillan, I remember that, like, one of the things that was talked about for Super Meat Boy at the time was, like, not only the brilliant level design, which, I don't know, I mean, like, I don't know. No. I don't know, Super Meat Boy, it's good. But I don't know, at the time, sure, there weren't that many great, like, modern platformers coming out, so fair enough, but... level design in Super Meat Boy is just it's just alright. But, I remember a lot of discussion being talked about, like, the background, and, like, how certain background elements will, like, lead you in the right direction if you don't know where to go on the screen, so you can get a sight read for your first time. I'm like, no, I don't know. I mean, like, the only examples where that's really relevant is, like, if you have to take a drop in some levels, like, yeah, I guess there is, like, background art to kind of illuminate the fact that there would be ground there, but kind of a loosey-goosey argument. You do feel bad for your coach because you remember the kids in your class just laughing at every biology lesson, but you also know he mostly gave up and just had you watch a video and then do work from the book. Yeah. Oh, goodbye. I don't want to do that screen like that. That guy just schmooved on up to me. I don't have a lot of, like, sad school stories, especially not from, like, a teacher's side of things. Like, I feel like school for me was mostly fairly normal. But if there was a sad teacher in my life, it's actually kind of funny because it relates to the health teacher. The one of the science teachers, I think it was 7th or 8th grade science. Whatever that is. I think it was, like, biology at the time. I don't even fucking remember. Who knows? I probably just have biology on my mind because you said biology. But it was one of the science teachers, was the wife of the coach. And I think I, first off, have never been put in a weirder position in all of my life going to school. But it also just, I don't know, I felt like, I also felt bad at the time, because I guess I understood where the teacher was coming from a little bit, but, like, just randomly, during, like, it was just a work period, like, she had given us, like, a page of work to do, and we were all, like, independently working at our desks. And it was a weird classroom. There's also, like, this kind of paints a picture as to why this situation happened, I guess, but, we didn't have our normal classroom for some reason. I don't remember why, but we were in this, like, weird, like, auditorium room classroom, which is, like, big, wide open, and didn't have proper desks, so it was, like, shared desks with just a bunch of chairs around them. But, I didn't really know anyone in that class, and I didn't really try to know anyone in that class, because I didn't really like the kids I was around. So I just kept to myself, mostly, and did my work. And on that day in particular, like, it's not like I purposefully picked the, this is gonna sound a little sad from my perspective, maybe, but it wasn't really. It was just like I didn't like the other kids in the class. But yeah, I was just one of the first people to that classroom to take a seat at a desk, and no one else sat at the same desk, so I happened to be at a desk by myself. And when she had handed out the papers to work on, I was just, quietly working to myself while I could hear, like, obviously you're not going to have a completely quiet and polite classroom. There was a lot of bickering and bantering between other peers at their own desks, but I was just, minding my own business, working, basically. And the teacher, like, without me knowing, too, she, like, came up from behind me, which made it extra weird for me. But she, like, sidled up next to me and whispered because she didn't want the other kids to hear. Okay. Pay attention to the game, maybe. She didn't want the other kids to hear, but very weird for a teacher to come up behind you and whisper something to you. She just said, like, I can't remember the exact words, but it was, like, something along the lines of, "It's okay, you're my favorite student." And I guess she felt bad for me because, like, I was sitting by myself, but I didn't even notice it like that. Because, like, I didn't consider myself friends with any of the other kids in the first place. It wasn't like I was down on myself or something, but I guess she just noticed that I was by myself, diligently doing my work, and wanted to say something, but very, very weird. And also did make me feel bad for her because, like, that was a particularly shitty classroom full of particularly rowdy individuals that gave her a hard time. But still weird. Still weird. Definitely, if you're a teacher out there, don't recommend that move It's one of the stranger things you can do. And for the record, it made me feel so weird and uncomfortable that at the time, my only solution was to be more interactive with the other kids, even though I didn't like them, just because I was like, I never want this to happen again in my life. Please. Please don't. Still didn't make friends with any of those kids. But at least I never had another weird interaction with the teacher. They were kind of weird, though. Like, I don't want to be weird about it, because, like, I don't fucking know. But, yeah, both the health teacher / coach and also that science teacher were, like, weirdly friendly with some of the students. I don't want to make it weird, but, like, that's the only way of putting it. Like, there would be, for the coach, a lot of the guys would be a little bit strangely friendly with the coach, but I mean, you know, he's their coach, I guess, so in a way, makes sense that you'd have a little bit of banter, but still kind of weird, that a teacher is interacting with kids in that way. And for a lot of the more popular females in the school, saying females made it sound like I was an incel, I'm sorry. Femoids, there you go, put it more bluntly. Some of the more popular femoids of the school were weirdly friendly with that science teacher, which I never quite understood. Like, I understood the coach one a little bit, because, like, you know, coach. But why the science teacher? I guess it's just like, I don't know, I really don't get it. Maybe there was something weird going on there, but I don't get the connection. Yeah, that's that story of the science teacher and the coach. Forbidden love. Forbidden love. It's kind of weird, though. For, like, the, like, I'm not gonna act like they may have gotten in arguments, because I don't fucking know. Maybe the wife / science teacher was equally devout, religious, and conservative, and would have the same opinions that the coach did when instructing the health lessons. But, like, I don't want to die. As a science teacher, I don't know. I just kind of feel like she would disagree with skipping over some of the aspects of the health lessons that the coach did. Like I said, it was a truly forbidden love. Never meant to be. But ciabatta bread, here we go. Here's a real discussion. Now we're talking. Now we're talking. I really feel like if I didn't skip over the ciabatta bread thing, I feel like the joke about relating it to pineapple really could have kicked off. That's the joke that was never meant to be. Dude, I'm feeling done. Both because, like, I've got nothing to talk about, and also because I don't know. I feel like I'm not gonna... I mean, if I tried at this for another hour, I probably could just finish it off today, but at what cost, you know? When you're trying to make interesting, entertaining content, if you got nothing to say and you're doing the same shit over and over again, it's career suicide. Still can't say words properly, don't look at me. It's career suicide. Not quite as bad as the Cetera 50 States quiz, but it's not great either. You remember sitting by yourself during lunch at high school and two girls came up to sit at your table because they thought you were lonely? Yeah, I don't know. People just assume things. People be out here assuming. But, a lunch is, like, especially among peers, like, that's wholesome. That's nice. But it's a super weird and different kind of situation when a teacher does it, especially like the whispering, like I know she just didn't want the other kids to know that I was her favorite student, but God, it was so fucking weird. So fucking weird, dude. But you just sat by yourself because you didn't really like the other people during high school and you were doing your work? Yeah. I can also see from your perspective how that would be, annoying if you were, like, literally mid-doing homework or something and they just came up to try and cheer you up when you don't really need it. I can see it. I can see it both ways. But still, you know, they thought they were doing a good thing. They really thought they were doing a good thing. Which is always when I feel most awkward. But I, like, you know, nowadays I just, like, put it bluntly. If someone is trying to be helpful and their help is unwanted, I'm not too shy about that kind of thing anymore. But I definitely used to be really, really awkward in those situations and just kind of go along with it, even if I did not want to go along with it. But that's just kind of how I was in general, and I feel like a lot of people are just kind of like that in general in school days. It's just going with the flow, because, like, no one wants to be the outlier and the weirdo. So you just kind of, you go along. And that's the story of how I became a coke addict. I told you, dude. The gateway drug, that's how they get you. Nah. I don't know, I'm pretty sure, like... I mean, I never particularly enjoyed smoking. Just because, like, I feel weird at any point if I am not, like, 100% in control of my actions. Not that, like, weed super takes you out of control. Like, it's not as bad as alcohol, but... it's still, like, not your normal self. Like... I don't know. It just makes me feel weird. But, you know, I never really had an issue doing it with friends. I guess the biggest issue I had was, like, it's not like they used a bong or anything. Like, it was just out of a fucking pipe. So first off, unsanitary. And secondly, it just fucking burns your lungs. As someone who, like, never smoked cigarettes or anything, it's just, like, the feeling of hot smoke going down your lungs is not very satisfying. I mean, especially, like, I can't... I mean, I know it's just a... Oop, almost died there. I know it's just a chemical addiction, but, like, when you start out smoking cigarettes, like... I don't know how you don't stop immediately after the first one before the addiction really kicks in. You know, I guess it's just peer pressure and thinking it's cool or whatnot, but... yeah, it's not very pleasant. And, like, I don't know, the satisfaction from cigarettes is not even, like, real satisfaction. It's just, I mean, for people who are addicted, it's just comes from the release of taking the substance you're chemically addicted to. So, like, at the start, when you're not really chemically dependent yet, I just... the habit, man, how's it form? How do you get it? You felt that you were blunt, but you're also the kind of guy who thinks if they want to sit there, you have no right to stop them? Yeah. Yeah! Yeah. No, but that's fine. Like, just, if you feel like it was awkward, then, make them regret it a little bit. Double down. Make it as awkward as fucking possible. That's the way to go about it. Those are the strats. God damn it, I went the wrong way. I couldn't remember if that was the one you hold right or left on when you fall. Turns out it's left. I did think, like, I know I can save myself here, but I forgot which direction. I forgot. But I was a pretty fucking bad student in general, so I don't know why I would be anyone's favorite student, especially if I was in a class with, like, people I was actually friends with. I was a huge piece of shit. I was obnoxious as all get out. I still remember, like, I think the most outrageous outburst I had gotten from a teacher was in, I think I remember the grade this time. I think it was either 6th or 7th grade. So, I was, you know, still a wee little baby who hadn't quite unlocked the magnificent sense of humor that I have today. One of the best. People are always talking about my sense of humor. Constantly the funniest guy on Twitch, I know. But, yeah, not so much at 6th or 7th grade. So, the great joke I had was, for the lesson, it was algebra, by the way, like, I can't remember if it was 6th or 7th grade, but whatever it was, that math class was, like, the first algebra. So it was probably 6th grade, if I had to guess. But, yeah, on the whiteboard to start out the day, our lovely math teacher had written down just, you know, a handful of problems that she was going to ask us to solve, or, you know, teach us examples through. And I remember that one of the variables included was p squared. And so my brilliant, genius mind came up with the funniest joke of all time, in which I asked my math teacher what p squared was. Okay, it actually is kind of funny. She already knew I was up to something, but somehow didn't piece it together in her head. So she was, like, hesitant, and, like, clearly didn't want me to answer with a joke. Like, she didn't know what the joke was yet, but she figured there probably was a joke, so she gave me, like, a slightly passive-aggressive, like, what? To which I responded, pee-pee, laughing hysterically to myself in the back of the room, amongst my peers. I don't think I've ever seen a teacher get madder, though. She, like, immediately was like, out, except a little bit louder than I'm being right now. She was quite mad at my pee-pee joke. I thought it was the funniest shit on the planet. But, yeah. I was definitely not the best student. And, I, like, very rarely did my work, too. Like, I did work in class, but, like, there are definitely a lot of zeros on homework from just not turning it in. Especially, like, geography. I fucking hated coloring in maps. Like, it's just the most mundane, boring shit of all time, but constantly schools would make you color in maps from the day you're born. Like, it didn't help me at all. I mean, for one, I most of the time just didn't do the homework. But for two, I don't really see how if I did do the homework, it would really give me a better understanding of geography. Especially, wow, I thought he would ledge grab there. Especially because, at least, like, our geography class was also, or at least the one that I'm talking about, was, like, geography and history to some degree, so it was, like, not just color in maps, but, like, color in maps of, like, ancient Greece and, like, the fucking settlements and stuff, and, I just, you know, I don't really think that that's exactly what I need. And moreover, I don't really think that coloring is going to help me memorize this. But they certainly thought it did. Is my RuneScape music dead? No, this song just has a full minute of silence after it actually ends. Like, the music playlist for RuneScape I have is something I downloaded off of, like, what is it? It's just, like, archive.org or something? The same website that hosts the Wayback Machine. But the RuneScape soundtrack has a lot of lulls in it, and I am not talking about the very funny Twitch emote. I'm talking about there are just a lot of awkward silences at the end of songs, and not good audio balance at all. Pretty much zero mastering work was done on the RuneScape OST. So, constantly from track to track, the volume varies quite greatly. That's the kind of thing you see a mile away and shake your head at, yeah. She really should have seen it coming. Like, I guess maybe she just thought it would be a more complicated joke than it was. Because, like, it's literally just, like, it is what p squared is. But... I'm not the one who wrote it on the whiteboard, you know? She set the joke up for me. She's the real comic. I should be giving my props to her. But here I am. I get all the credit. And you know what? The more I think about it, the more I deserve it. But that was a fun math class. You know? Any math class with that kind of atmosphere. I learned, like, jack shit, but it was also algebra, so there's kind of jack shit to learn. It's just like the basics of how math works, more or less. Algebra is not a particularly complex class. But, I don't know. I mean, I had that issue with most of my math classes, though. It's just like the pacing of it is so ungodly slow. Like, in my head, I can't fucking think of what the hell we spent our time doing day in and day out in that math class. Like, what is the curriculum for Algebra 1? What the fuck do you teach? Like, I just actually have no recollection. Not to say that the math has left my brain, because I still have an understanding of how math works, but... I just don't understand how you can drag that concept on for the entirety of a year-long course. It seems like there's really not that much on offer for Algebra 1. I mean, Algebra 2, we got into, like, matrices and stuff. That's a little more fun. But, yeah, Algebra 1, what are you doing? What are you doing? You think history wanted you to draw a picture with each vocab definition? You hated... Wait. Okay, sorry. Let me read this from the top. I feel like I'm having a stroke reading the sentence. You think history wanted you to draw a picture with each vocab definition you actually hated. That draw me a picture of the Treaty of Versailles. I think I'm pronouncing that one right. Versailles? I think it's Treaty of Versailles. Fuck! God damn it! Second guess was the right one. I think it's Versailles. I feel like I had a stroke reading that first and second time. But just thinking about drawing a picture of that does feel a little bit weird as a memorization technique. But I mean, I don't know. That's like all that like middle school and high school does, is like brutally force you to memorize things without really explaining so much as to why things work in certain situations. I mean, obviously you can't really explain why history works, it's just kind of like a thing that you do have to memorize, but for like math especially, I feel like a lot of people missed the point in the lessons, because the lessons were not so much about why these numbers work this way, but more so about, like, just remember that it works this way. Which is not the best way of teaching math. Or science. Science was the exact same way. Some science lessons were better than others, but... like, I don't know, like, from recollection, like, I remember one of the school lessons for... like, simple physics, because I was never in high school long enough to get real physics, but, the simple physics that were taught in, like, middle school, I remember a lesson on, like, the 3 or 4, I mean, see, I don't really remember it that well, because it was just fucking brute force memorization, without actually teaching people how things work. But it was like the 3 or 4, like, mechanical advantages you can have. One of them obviously being a pulley, one of them being a lever, and straight up, don't remember any others. I remember a pulley and a lever. But, like, that did not fucking teach me how pulleys work, or why levers give you a mechanical advantage. Like, I mean, I guess cool, it's kind of nice to know that using a lever can give you an advantage, but why that work like that, you know? I mean, maybe if I took real physics, they would have actually taught me how pulleys and levers work. But, oh, and wheels. Wheels are a big one. How can you forget wheels, dude? Wheels. That's gotta be one of them. But, yeah, I don't know. Like, pulleys, I still, like, they're fucking miraculous objects to me. Like, I do know how they work now, because you're just getting, like, additional help from gravity, basically. But it's still fucking crazy to me that, that you can actually get such a ridiculous mechanical advantage out of pulleys. Like, it seems so illogical when you think about, like, yeah, you literally just, like, you can strap up, like, 50 pulleys in a row and lift up the entire planet. Like, it's just crazy, the way they work. But, yeah, anyways, that's pulleys. That's science. That's the American education system. Early algebra is mostly just about... Oh, wait, shit, I actually have to pay attention on the screen, because there's important timing that I use. I always set myself up for the consistent timing. Now I can look. Early algebra is mostly about learning the inferior techniques to solve equations you learn. Yeah, that's pretty true, ain't it? But, I don't know. I mean, another thing is, like... Especially, like, very, very early on in schooling, like, the ways they teach you how to do... I mean, you could say it with addition as well, like, the way they teach you how to do long addition, long subtraction, and especially long multiplication and long division, where you, like, write out every step of the way, is not the only way of doing multiplication and division. It's just, like, you know, an easy way to keep track of the numbers, but, like, it's effectively just, like, little tricks, you know? Like, the long-form way of writing down division and multiplication, it's not like that is how multiplication and division works. It's more so just, like, here's a way that you can step-by-step solve it. But that, I don't know. I feel like that puts people on the wrong foot when, like... I'm done. When a better form of, like, doing long-form multiplication or division comes out, and people are like, well, I wasn't prepared for this! Like, that's not the way I was taught it, so it's wrong! Because I think that, I don't know, somewhat recently, schools started teaching, long-form multiplication and maybe also division in a different way. And, I don't know. People are upset about that for some reason. Sounds stupid to me. Let's pivot. Let's pivot to math.